Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline, and I wanted to share a little bit about my experience with Melibee Global's C4 coaching cohort for people searching for international careers in international education. I'll start with a little bit about me. I had been applying for jobs essentially since I graduated with my master's degree. So probably 3 or 4 years went by where I was working in higher ed, but not in a position I loved, and wasn't in international education. And applying on and off for those 3 to 4 years was tough. I would rarely hear back. And with that, almost never get an interview, and wasn't quite sure what I was doing wrong. And finally got me to a point where I realized, no, I need to take more proactive steps. And one of those steps for me was attending a webinar given by Missy, the founder of Melibee Global, on building your cover letter for the international education job search. And that was a wake-up call, to say the least, for me. If anything, I was taking advice from, maybe not the wrong people, but people who weren't in international education. And that's certainly where Missy's strengths really, really lie, in that she could speak specifically not only to me as in terms of my own style and experience and history, but also to the actual field with international education, and give you really sound and logistical advice that you can apply readily. And in fact, I was so kind of shocked in some ways that it led me to schedule a one-on-one coaching session with Missy, which I remember taking copious notes. I remember Missy just kind of blowing me away with all of this information that I had not known. And but more importantly, I think, along with her experience, really taking the time to invest in me, as a professional. I left that meeting not only feeling informed, but also inspired. I later went on to submit a blog post that was later published, reflecting on some of my experiences leading study abroad courses. And, with that kind of investment, I think I was really, re-energized to my job search. And, I certainly wouldn't equate it to a coincidence that a couple weeks later, utilizing Missy's advice, I got an interview at my ideal university doing, international education work. And then a couple weeks after that, found out that I got the job. So, again, I certainly wouldn't attest that to a coincidence. I would say that's a direct result of my experience with Missy and the career coaching offered. I can say I only wish I had maybe thought a little bit more into the future and, attended a webinar or consulted with Missy on things like salary negotiation and, kind of moving forward. And that's the one thing that I probably would recommend to anyone considering this career coaching is, think about the now in the sense of, think about what you need to do to get your foot in the door to get that interview and things like that. But then, don't take don't do what I did and only think about the now. Think about the future and definitely invest in, some consultations or webinars or things that, move you beyond just the interview and after you've gotten the offer, because Missy's got a lot of good advice with that as well. So really happy myself, so thankful for my continued, sort of relationship with Missy. She's continued to be invested in me as a professional, like I said. And I would highly, highly recommend it to anyone considering. So thanks for listening, please feel free to contact me through Missy if you have any other questions. I'm happy to help.